You guys know what time it is. Get strapped in and ready for some good times. This is the Blowed Out Podcast. What is up, everybody? It is your favorite fatty with a natty coming at you from the luxurious Blowed Out Podcast studio in Ogden, Utah. And I'll just go ahead and say right now, that obnoxious noise in the background is because it's a balmy, 28 degrees, possibly less. So, unfortunately, it's that time of year where you're going to have to listen to the furnace here and there. But rolling solo tonight. No Maddie without a natty or Miss Lady. But I figured I'd jump on and say hi to everybody. It's been a hot minute. Kind of catch everybody up that doesn't already know. I kind of alluded to some things last time on episode 40. Unfortunately, I had to deal with the passing of my dear sweet mother. And then right behind that, my gallbladder decided to blow up, apparently. And I just went yesterday for my post-op. So I got four new hell holes in my belly where they vacuumed that thing out. But I just found out yesterday that one of the stones in my gallbladder was literally 1.25 inches in diameter. Damn near the size of a golf ball. Jesus. Well, I guess that explains why it was pissed and why it felt like there were, midgets having an MMA fight in my belly. Everything makes sense now. But, again, at least that kind of helps explain why we've been kind of MIA lately. So I apologize for that. I like to at least try and get one out to you guys. For anybody who's listening in 5 countries, thank you again, by the way. At least that gives you some idea of why we haven't been churning them out. Like I said, I'd like to at least get one out every couple of weeks, but stuff happens, right? Lots to talk about. Been a lot of madness in the world, which you guys already know that. The bonus is everybody that thought the world was just going to collapse on itself when Trump won, here we still are. To my knowledge, there hasn't been any wild stories about, like concentration camps or transgender teenagers just being beaten to death because they left their house after they couldn't stop sobbing. I've seen some wild stuff on social media that, again, clearly wasn't the case. I guess everybody can maybe just kind of calm down now. And I hope that anybody that still thinks like the day of reckoning is coming in January, I really just don't see that happening, guys. Sorry. If it was going to happen, it would have already. Also, congratulations to all the big box retailers for not being looted or burned down. You still got all your big screen TVs for Black Friday and the holiday season. So, I think it's a win-win all the way around so far. It's the dumbest shit ever. I like that companies, retailers, literally were boarding up their windows in preparation for looting and rioting. That's just the world we're living in now, kids. How is that even a thing? Like, is that not just the damnedest thing anyone has ever heard, or is it literally just me? I find that hard to believe. Granted, I'll be the first to admit that I'm naive on a lot of things. Most of them are typically like skilled labor industries that I'm just don't know about because I've never been in them. So those are a lot of things I'm naive about. Possibly some women issues. I'm probably what some may consider naive about. I mean, I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of how the female anatomy works, but I'm clearly no expert. I'm just a dumb mechanic. So like I said, I admit there are a lot of things I don't know, but I can't be the only one that is just blown away by the current state of the world. And I'm certain I've said it a million times, but it still just doesn't cease to amaze me almost on a daily basis. Who would have ever thought? I guarantee that our grandparents, or at least us Gen Xers, the best gen, obviously, our grandparents literally couldn't comprehend the world right now, at least the ones that aren't around. And the ones that are, I hope, are, just like playing shuffleboard and, doing stuff that they don't even have to think about it because it's just not great. Yeah, it doesn't suck. I mean, there could be way worse things. It could get way worse, but for the most part, just do you. Just make sure your bills are paid and everything else, and then don't worry about the rest. It's going to solve itself, or it's going to work itself out regardless of whether or not we lose any sleep over it. So there is that. Speaking of things to do other than lose sleep about the current state of the world, I have noticed quite a bit lately, especially here in Utah and northern Utah. Times are tough, and I know that you guys know that, and they're tough for everybody. But with the holiday season, everybody's struggling. So I did want to say that all the shit talking and, jokes and everything else that myself and my co-hosts make here on the show, all that aside, let's just remember that we're all human. Everybody needs a little bit of help sometimes, so try not to be too harsh on somebody that needs a little help out, especially during this time of year. The one soft spot I do have is for kids. I joke about it because I am not emotionally comfortable with the fact that I have a soft spot for kids other than my own, or what I consider my nieces and nephews. It still weirds me out because when I was a younger man, I didn't much care for kids, but they don't deserve to not have, Christmas or a roof over their heads or anything that they may be struggling with. They certainly don't deserve to be bullied or beaten down mentally, especially this time of year. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. Everybody love everybody. If you're in a position to help out, why not? Why not? Makes you feel good. Like I said, especially if it's kids, man. Kids don't deserve that. They need a fighting chance. They can't, they don't get to choose what kind of crazy damn world they were brought into. So just food for thought. Just ask Biden. He realized that kids deserve a chance, so he pardoned his. Which really, at least didn't come as a surprise to me. Right, wrong, or indifferent, everyone should have seen that writing on the wall. The minute that the Democrats lost, and you guys know I don't give a damn either way. Democrat, Republican, utilitarian, whoever. I don't care. I don't choose sides. I choose people, for the people. So I don't care who it is or what side it is or whatever else, but everyone should have just saw that coming. The minute they lost, or the minute, the minute that everything went south for our current administration, that's just, well, if I don't get a chance, well, then I'm just going to do whatever the hell I want for the last, 2 months or whatever while I still can. So, of course he's going to pardon him. And I don't know if he's actually a dirtbag or not. I've never met the guy, but I do think it's pretty wild that, oops, well, that just went out the window, so never mind. He can go free. Why not? At this point, there seems to be so many people that are so concerned and convinced. And again, I don't know. I'm just a dumb mechanic from Utah. Well, I don't know, but there seem to be so many people who are convinced that a felon, rapist, God knows what else just got elected, that they can't, it seems that they can't see past all of it. And I don't understand it. It seems that everyone is so concerned about what mainstream media is shoving down their throats that just it doesn't matter. It's just like, well, apparently up until tonight, I just heard on the way to the studio that the feller Luigi or Mario or whatever Nintendo character, the guy that allegedly gunned down the CEO of United Healthcare. It's just like that. Up until tonight, everyone was just convinced that was the dude. Turns out they do have evidence now, allegedly, pointing to the fact that it was the dude that did it. But for several days now, it was just, well, they claimed this is the guy they were looking for, and they just ran with it. Like I said, and possibly it came out earlier today. I just barely heard it on the way here, like an hour ago. So I don't know if the I guess proof, maybe not proof, but whatever seemingly concrete evidence the NYPD now has saying that it is this Luigi character. I don't know if that came out earlier than an hour ago or if I heard it, when it was fairly fresh. But my point is that for several days, people just went, oh, yeah, well, that's him and he's guilty. And as soon as they catch him, good, done and done. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? Which we all know that went out the window probably when it was even uttered, let alone so long ago that it doesn't matter now, because that's all just horse shit. You're guilty until proven innocent, basically, at least in my opinion. But again, it's just that there are a portion, or there is a percentage of the population who is just so quick to choke down whatever the mainstream media is dishing out. Like, just gag on it and take it, just grin and bear it. Just swallow whether you want to or not. It'll go right down. You won't even taste it. I don't understand that. Why? What happened to, question things? It's like going to the doctor, and I just caught myself. Sorry. When we go to the doctor, someone such as myself, who clearly isn't a doctor, we expect them to tell us the truth. However, we all know that the healthcare system is broken as hell, and that a cured patient is no longer a paying patient. So we know that it's broken, but you have to think that way. You have to be in that mindset. So when you go to the doctor, you want to assume that they're telling you the truth, or they're telling you what is actually in your best interests. However, you have to remember, or at least be analytical enough to think, well, maybe they're telling me this just to keep me coming back and paying their damn Beamer payment. Which is the actual case. So there are certain things, mechanics, doctors, plumbers, for instance, that when they come and they tell you, well, this is what's wrong, you want or almost have to believe them because they possess some knowledge that some of us don't. Well, I'm not a plumber, so if a plumber came to me and said, hey, this pipe's jacked up and it's going to be $7,000 to fix it, I have to take him at face value unless I know someone who I can bounce that off of, or I at least have the conscious thought to say, well, wait a minute, is that actually the case, or is there more to it? So it floors me, the people that, again, just choke down whatever mainstream media is feeding them because they must be right. Well, it's Fox News or it's MSNBC or it's CNN or who the hell ever. So that it must be right? It's the internet. The internet can't lie, right? The news can't lie, right? It has to be true, right? No. I mean, we all know that. Anyone that listens to the show is smart enough to know that. Anyone that listens to the show is smart enough to go, well, just because they said it doesn't mean it's true. Just because the internet said that, it's possible to have 18 nipples that all lactate at once out of your back when you're a man, doesn't mean it's true just because the damn internet or Fox News or whoever said it. So, like I said, the things that they're saying that they say constantly about Trump or Biden or the Luigi dude or Hunter or whoever. Basically, at this point, it's pictures or it didn't happen. When they say a plane crashed, okay, well, there's a video of the plane crashing. But if they just come out and say, oh, somebody's a rapist or, Sleepy Joe, fell out of his bed or this Luigi dude shot somebody or Hunter did this or Kamala did that or, Condoleezza said this or said that. Well, you're going to have some proof. You can't just say it. And for God's sakes, like I said, you guys already know, but for anybody that possibly believes everything they hear without doing a little bit of homework, you literally have a supercomputer in your pocket. Do a little bit of homework. Take you 5 minutes. Took me 5 minutes to find out that, Trump, for instance, didn't ban abortions. Took me just a couple of minutes with the supercomputer that's in my pocket. I didn't have to believe the TV or the dude on Facebook telling me, or my neighbor, or whoever may have spouted it in my ear. I just did a little bit of homework and boom, sure enough, there it is. That's not true. Weird. I assume at this point you guys are used to me ping-ponging around, so I hope this is all making sense, but it's just wild to me. It blows my mind. The people are still, there's that percentage of the population or that portion of humanity, or humans, rather, are just so willing to just suck it up and believe whatever the hell they hear. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. And social media is, good Lord, it's the worst of it. That creates more wildfires than any lightning or dirtbag campers or some dude flicking a cigarette out his window in Yellowstone. That creates way more fires. Facebook, TikTok. Well, if it was on there, it must be true. It's happening because I seen it on TikTok. Wrong. Don't get me wrong. I am not bashing on Facebook or TikTok as a platform. At least not in this instance. I'll bash on them plenty, trust me. But as far as something to do, I'm as much a sucker as anybody else. I love TikTok. I love Facebook. It's something to scroll. God forbid we remember what the hell we did without social media at our fingertips. But again, that has nothing to do with them. I mean, some of it may, but it's still the people using it. Lord, I don't get it. I don't get it. Again, it's just like the thing with Christmas and people begging for money, and they are great platforms when they're used responsibly, I guess, if that's even a thing. They're fantastic for small business owners or idiots in northern Utah who decide to start a podcast because it sounds fun and it's something they want to do. So they're wonderful platforms for putting the word out. But for that same reason, if the word's wrong, then it's just a train wreck. You know what they are good for, though? Recipes. Pictures of amazing looking food that'll really remind you that you're hungry. And fat. Well, fat because you're hungry and you see pictures of amazing looking food that you have to run home and recreate. Music. There are a lot of great up-and-coming artists right now that deserve your listen and your money way more than, I don't know, Taylor Swift or, God, anybody else who's already a billionaire and isn't really any good. So I implore you to give that a shot. Artists, small businesses, local things, they're really good for seeing what your friends had for dinner. You know, a plate of dried out pot roast and some asparagus spears that, you know, Stephanie or someone like that had for dinner along with her Starbucks. Sorry to anyone named Stephanie. It's just random, I promise. But enough about that. Before I forget, to anyone interested in hill climb, motorcycle hill climbs, or to anyone in the hill climbing community, if you hadn't already heard, the X12 dates are out. Like I said, I don't want to forget. So May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in Plymouth, Utah. It is next year's X12. So go ahead and mark that on your calendars now in Plymouth, Utah. It's a great time with a bunch of great folks, and it's the only one we have left. So let's blow this baby up. It's the closest thing we're going to ever get to the old W word again, at least in Utah. And all your favorite characters are there. So jump on the website. I would have gone blank right then. It is www.x12events.com. For camping information, entry information, all that good stuff. Jump on there. We'll be there. We'd love to see you guys there. Like I said, it's a great time. It's not too hot. Might get a little chilly at night, depending on the weather, but it's perfect riding weather, and it's a great hill. Guaranteed to be a good time. Anyhow, now that I've did that, before I forgot, for the third time, like a retard, I keep saying it. On to the next bit of business. Those of us here at the Blowed Out Podcast and other surnames, which some of you know, we generally try and do something around this time of year just to be better humans than we feel like we are on a daily basis. We try and do a little something to help anyone who may be down and out, the homeless, unfortunate homeless population, and in the current state of things, again, at least here in northern Utah, that number has grown exponentially because housing prices are just ridiculously astronomical. And I realize it's getting to be a little too late to pull anything off for Christmas time. But in years past, we have kind of foregone Christmas time just because, everybody's trying to do what they got going on and everything else. So generally, well, not generally, but again, the last several years, right after the first of the year, we try and do a little something. So if there's anyone local or even semi-local that would like to possibly do a little collaboration, try and put something together, please reach out. I would like to, but it's a lot. It's a lot for one or two or even three people to try and pull off. So if we want to put something together, please reach out if you want to help. Obviously, it's a great cause. And we try and do it, but again, it's a lot. So I could definitely use some help if we want to try and do something. I would assume that as late in the year as it has gotten without any snow to speak of here in northern Utah, we're going to be in store for a gnarly winter. So I assume January, February, March are going to be probably the hardest hit. Because again, we haven't, here in northern Utah, we haven't had anything. Like I haven't had to drive in snow yet. And what are we, 2 weeks from Christmas? Actually, I think, 2 weeks to the day? Good Lord. I don't even know how that's possible either. But like I said, if you'd like to join or help or have some ideas, reach out, please. I'd love to try and put something together. I'm just going to need some help doing it. So hit me up if you'd like to do that. And we can do something. I'm down for, and I speak for all of us here, Maddie and Miss Lady. I know that I speak for all of us when I say that we'd be more than happy to do something outside of Ogden or even Weber County, maybe meet in the middle, whatever, just northern Utah in general, or even outside of Utah. If we can help in any way, please let me know. We are fortunate enough to at least have a roof over our heads and a heater, so I try and remember that not everybody does, and clearly not rolling in dough by any means, but it could be worse. So I try and remember that there are plenty of people who have it worse than me, even if I don't necessarily have it good, I still have it way better than a lot. So something to think about. You guys know where. Sorry, I meant to throw that out there. Blowedoutpodcast@gmail.com. Blowed Podcast on Facebook. Or, well, let's just stick with that. We'll keep it easy. I check those all the time. So if you want to put something together, holler at me, please. Let's do something. Try and do a little good in the world. Speaking of doing some good in the world, if anyone was wondering, I am a size 4,000 in bank account, 13 and a half in New Balances, because, I'm an old man, so New Balance is a thing. I'm a size 357 in handguns. I think, what else? I mean, if anyone was looking for some last minute gift ideas, just throwing that out there. I also just realized that I didn't tell everyone that I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And at least got to spend some time with your loved ones. Hopefully, no one choked on some dry-ass turkey. I'm with Maddie on this one. I wasn't until this year when I was just laying in bed recovering from my gallbladder explosion surgery. He's not a fan of the turkeys, and I didn't agree with him until this year, and I think I'm with him that all the turkey, I think, at this point can just go away. I love turkey, don't get me wrong, but I'd be fine if I don't have to ever eat dry turkey again. Ham? You can at least church up ham. I've never met a ham I didn't like unless it was literally like petrified. But I'm thinking brisket or tri-tip is going to be the new bird. I don't know about you guys. I highly recommend it. Obviously, fresh off of a smoker. We won't go into what kind of smoker, but any smoker, as long as you don't murder it, any smoker would be fine to do a brisket or a tri-tip. I'm certain you will never think about turkey again. Just, throwing that out there as a ADHD recommendation. Because why? It wouldn't be the Blowed Out podcast if I just went from one gear to the next without even pushing in the clutch. Lord, speaking of completely off the rails and sideways of whatever conversation we were having, most of you know that I spend a lot of late nights at the shop, a lot of times by myself. And the other night, I was working on a couple of projects, and I had this brilliant idea, and I can't remember what brought it up, but for some reason, like a random letter popped into my mind, and I decided that could be kind of fun for the podcast to have a random letter generator. Just pick a letter, and then myself or we come up with all the words we can possibly think of that start with that letter. It's kind of interactive because you guys can do the same. Maybe it will be, it's slightly interactive. You guys can come up with stuff that maybe we don't think of. Also, maybe expand your vocabulary a hair or ours. So I was laughing about it and thinking, that might be kind of fun. Just, for shits and grins while we're sitting around hamming it up. Turns out, sure enough, there is a random letter generator. So you can be mad at me if you want. I hope that I hope that this works out as well as I think it will in my head. But here's the random letter generator for this episode. We're going to give it a shot. Here we go. And we're going to spin. I love that this is a thing. All right. And we got S. Huh. S. Well, Scadden. That obviously has to be my first pick. Semaglutide. Both of which probably belong in the same sentence. Let's see. Superlative. Stupid. That probably wasn't a great letter for the first try. Shithead. Let me think. This would obviously be better with other people to bounce it off of, but this is going to work, I think. We'll keep it to a minimum since there's no banter back and forth at the moment, but I'm certain that this could be kind of fun. There are a lot of words for pretty much every letter that you can come up with if you try hard enough. Again, maybe it's dumb, maybe it's just something to rant about, but I think it'd be fun. Serendipity. See, the longer you think about it, the more it works. Got to challenge our aging brains in this day and age without mainstream or social media horse shit. Got to stay sharp. Got to give you something to think about other than that garbage, other than the current state of everything. Also, I guess, since technically the AI-generated version of the description of this show says that we do shop talk, which is true. Hope everyone's staying safe where they're at. Remember, now that the snow's flying and there's ice everywhere, make sure your tires aren't trash and they got the right air pressure. Not too much, not too little. Maybe try and even them out. Most tire shops will do that for you if you just give it a go. Don't mean to sound stupid, but also, they run just as good on the top half of half a tank as they do on the bottom. It's not a bad idea, especially in our neck of the woods, to make sure you got plenty of gas. God forbid you get stranded in a snowbank. To have enough gas to keep you warm until somebody can pull you out. Don't want nobody freezing to death. So make sure you keep some gas in the car. Check your oil. I don't know. It sounded good, but now that it's not on paper, it sounds like pretty much everyone that listens to the show is smart enough to realize and remember these things. But friendly reminder. Would like to keep everyone with us for the foreseeable future, especially through the holidays. On that note, I'm just not gonna. I think at this point it would just be dumb if I kept rambling on. So, hope to talk to you guys again real soon. Stay safe out there in your travels. We will definitely talk to you before Christmas. Again, if you can do some good in the world, try at least, maybe. If you want to put something together, holler at me. What's it? Just remember that around this time, make sure you tell your loved ones you love them. You never know when you're not going to get the next chance. So that's a thing. That's a thing that's hitting home pretty hard for me lately. So remember to do that. Yeah. Again, till next time, kids. Next time we'll get the gang all back together and we'll throw down again. In the meantime, stay safe. Love you guys. Cheers.